Hello, and welcome to the Reveal the Legend Within Story Festival world-class speaker interviews. And my guest today is as much a surprise to me as it will be to you, because we've known each other for a matter of weeks. But when we met and I tuned into her story, it was just magnetic. And so what we did is we met on a retreat. And yes, it is COVID. Yes, it is lockdown, but there was a window. And this was a retreat that was postponed from March because of lockdown. There was a window. We were all given the opportunity to come together for the first time in 8 months and be with each other. And it was the most magical week. And in this week, I met the very person I'm going to introduce to you now. I met Awena. But you may notice that she has a slightly different name behind her on the banner behind. So first of all, Awena, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, tell me your story, your side of this story of what happened in the retreat, because it so perfectly sets us up.
So, yeah, I mean, it was quite an incredible thing. I don't think anyone on the retreat was actually expecting to happen what happened, because actually we all kind of went in and to then sort of come out, and it was really, really magical. I think we all kind of went with the expectation of getting certain bits of work done. I don't think we ended up thinking we were going to have these massive transformations. So I turned up to the retreat as Naomi Ella, which you can see is everywhere right now. But my first name is Awena. The reason why I've not used Awena is because as a child, I was bullied and teased incredibly for my name, Awena. People got it wrong. The boys were worse. They would pick on me in the playground. They would call my name out wrong in classroom and down the corridors. And this I've been carrying around with me for years and years and years. This intense kind of physical sickness, this pain of when someone gets my name wrong, it sends me right back there to when I was a kid, of just feeling like so like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me, and feeling so small and feeling so weird. When I was at school, my name was Awena, so obviously that was teased. I was really tall, I'm half French, I had hippie parents. So, I mean, I had nothing, I was like an absolute target, but they really, really picked on my name. So throughout my adulthood, I've used the name Naomi because it's my middle name. So my full name is Awena Naomi Ella. Ella is also my grandma's name. So when it came to coming online, which of course is an incredibly vulnerable space, you're not just faced with 5 or 6 people, you're faced with 5 or 6 million people potentially. And while I know my circle isn't probably that big, you never know who's watching. But the fear that I brought with me from that name, from that pain of, oh my God, they're going to get it wrong. Oh my God, they're going to reject me. They're going to think I'm weird. They're going to think I'm a freak. They're going to not believe me. All these like limiting beliefs that are going on, but it's because of what happened as a kid. So everybody on the online space, including yourself until recently, knew me as Naomi Ella. But the name Awena, which came out on the retreat, which was amazing, when I stood up and told everyone my real name, I think I just burst into tears straight away. My palms were sweating. I felt physically sick. I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, because it was actually me coming into the world as me. And while, of course, my dearest friends know me as Awena, there's a lot of people who don't know me as Awena. And to take that step meant overcoming something that I've carried through my entire life since a kid, which still makes me slightly scared, but I'm getting through it, and it's getting stronger all the time.
I mean, the fascinating thing is that we were all relative strangers, as in we're the people in the big world, one of those millions, and we were a handful of them. And from my perspective, I can tell you, when you stood up and you said your name, it was like this Celtic power of some goddess. The goddess in your name just was released, and everybody, it was tangible, everybody could feel it, and we were like, we can see you. And it was so powerful. It was beautiful. It was as if this was who you're meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It really took me back, actually. I wasn't expecting to have that response, and I wasn't expecting to feel the way that I felt. And I think it might have even been you that then said, so what does Awena mean? And Awena means to be a muse and poetic inspiration, which I feel really brave saying it out loud. But it's an incredible name, and it has, my mum gave me that name for her own reasons, and she wanted me to be proud and stand proud in the world. And she had this vision of me, even when I was in the womb, of this woman with this long red hair flying around on it, like Celtic woman on the top of a mountain, just shining out to the world. And I've been hiding behind that. And actually, I have gone through phases where I thought, oh my God, I feel so guilty for hiding behind this incredible name that my mum's given me. And I'm ready to share that with the world now. I'm ready to really own who I am and what that name means. Which is,
Right, but it kind of mirrors the reason you do what you do, doesn't it? As
yeah,
in,
yeah,
well, you're a matrescence maven.
yes. What an incredible word.
I know, right? And matrescence is, you're here almost as that muse, that Celtic goddess to reconnect women with what happens to them when they get pregnant and give birth. And it's not the reductionist experience that most of us are used to. So tell me that, you know, the rebirth of Awena and literally what happens to women through birth.
Yeah, it's really incredible that I've been through these huge transformations, because my whole business is based upon the transformation that I personally went through in becoming a mum. So I'll tell you a little story because it will put it into context as to what I'm going to be explaining. So I'm going to just let you know about matrescence really quickly, and then the story will tell you a little bit more in depth about that. So matrescence is the term given to a woman as she transitions into becoming a mum. So when we go from woman to mother, we go through this transitional phase, which is a few years, around about 3 year time, where we're but chemically, hormonally, cognitively, physiologically changing, much like the changes we go through in adolescence, much, similar to different changes that happen when we go through menopausal stages. When we become a mother, things happen like our brains develop, they shrink and they grow. They continue to grow for about 2 years post-pregnancy. We go through incredible spiritual, emotional, physical shifts within ourselves, role identity loss, grief for old life. We're not really taught about what happens when we become a mother. No one says you will have this explosion of awakening within you, which you don't know what to do with. You will experience, grief and loss for the life that you once had, and also almost fear for what's happening, what's the next, what's to become. Our brains don't like unpredictability. It causes stress. So of course, when we're faced with becoming a new mother, it's incredibly unpredictable. So of course we're heightened with all these, different kind of emotions that we're learning how to deal with. And as a kind of societal rule, it's very, very based around the baby, very much around the baby, a little bit to do with the mum, but not really much. We're not educated on what matrescence is. So my hope is, by inspiring the world and talking about matrescence and sharing within the understanding and the knowledge and the need of what we need as women, we can then heal, we can then grow, and we can then support our mothers now, but our mothers in the future, how to safely transition and shine and thrive and grow within.
I mean, yes, the focus is on creating another life. And
yes.
What you're saying is we're not creating just one life. A whole other one, ours, inside us, is also created in that process, which is just so much bigger. I mean, that is 2 births in a way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they say when a baby is born, so is a mother. We don't know who she is yet. We are yet to learn about who she is. And the reason why she needs so much love and support is because when the mother is safe and sound, everything else works.
Yes, and we have our blood pressure taken and our stitches done up, and we're told to take naps, and this is about as much care. I mean, I'm being a bit reductionist here, but what you're talking about is some sort of, creational explosion, and most of us don't experience that. But before we get to that, tell us the story, your own story of how you came to understand all of this, because it's extraordinary.
Yes. So I had quite a different lifestyle to what I have now.
Well,
It
which
was
is why it makes you an expert, because it meant that you were closer enough to this to be able to understand it. So tell us about that bit.
Yeah, so it absolutely it's the so I used to be a festival performer and an occupational therapist. I'm still an occupational therapist, by the way. That still stayed with me for years. But part of my lifestyle was festival performing. I would create events. I would help I would do the walkabout theatre and things like that. So I'd sort of entertain the crowds. I'd dress up in character. I'd be an old lady. Then I'd be a crazy bunny. Then I'd put up a flashing dance floor. So I had this like really incredible lifestyle where I was always the hostess with the mostest. I always had, all the drinks. I always made sure everyone had blankets. I always made sure that everyone else was okay. I was very much the clucky hen of the group, and very much the organizer and the doer, and the very involved in everything. And so I had this quite fire kind of lifestyle where it'd be full festivals every weekend throughout the summer. It'd be huge parties, things like that. And I had the occupational therapy, which was great because it grounded me. It sort of linked in with my purpose of helping people and helping people to shine and helping people to live the best life possible. So when I became pregnant, I actually said to my mum, I was like, it's fine, I'll just have my baby and just bring the baby with me. Nothing's going to change. I'm just going to have a baby. And my mum was like, okay, I'll leave that with you. It was very hard for her to explain what was going to happen. And so I enjoyed the pregnancy. The pregnancy was great and I was loving all of that. And my things were changing, but that was okay. I was managing it. I had this big plan for this incredible birth, which didn't go to plan in the end. And from day 3 of coming home from the hospital, everything crashed. Everything plummeted. My entire being, my entire sense of self, my spirituality, my connection to who I was and everybody else, everything came crumbling down. And I hit a point at that point, which lasted for months, of postnatal depression. Although I question whether that was postnatal depression and not parts of matrescence that was misunderstood. I cried every day. I regretted what had happened to my life. I felt sick with regret. My stomach would churn with like, oh my God, what's happened? What have I done? What's happened to my life? I wasn't bouncing around in spandex looking fantastic on stage anymore. I wasn't like entertaining people and bringing the fun and the joy. I couldn't organize anything. I had this whole life that I wasn't part of. Not only that, but I was no longer a worker. I wasn't earning money, and I was used to earning good money. I wasn't even able to do the washing up and the cleaning and the cooking. So in my eyes, I totally lost who I was. I totally lost all role identity as a worker, as an occupational therapist. I worked my way up fairly quickly and quite high. And it was really important to me to have that. That was who I was. And I couldn't even be a good wife. I had no love for my child. I had no love for me. I had no need to want to grasp that love from anybody else. It was a real struggle, and I went through that quite alone. I put on a face. I put on a happy face. Some people knew. They had no idea of how bad it was. I feared that someone would take my baby away from me if I told anyone what was going on. So the months go on and I continue to struggle. And I mean, the story's much longer than this, but we don't have all day right now. There was an increment about 6 months where I got a little bit more sleep. I was existing on about 3 hours sleep every night. This kind of continues like this until around the 10-month stage when I went to this amazing wedding. Like absolutely stunning. Now bear in mind I'm completely wedding obsessed as well. Like absolutely love a good wedding, love organising weddings. I am like all over that all the time. So I'm at this amazing wedding, which has like, I don't know, 350 to 500 people maybe. It was huge. At this amazing place in Devon, a huge house, massive barn, swimming pool, huge like banquet of like the most phenomenal food. They're all chefs and festival entertainers at this wedding. So you can imagine it was just stunning. And everyone who was there was just having the best time ever. There was people rolling around everywhere, having families getting together, people meeting each other for the first time, old friends reconnecting. It was gorgeous weather. Everything about it was absolutely perfect. Amazing stage, amazing cocktail bar, incredible scenery. My husband, bear in mind, has broken his foot and he's the best man. So we're not really connected by this point because he's off doing best man duties in crutches. So I'm there with a 10-month-old baby who's crawling around the floor, crawling around everywhere. I can't finish my dinner. I can't finish a conversation. I can't go and have a drink with my friends because I'm a mother looking after a baby. It was really, really challenging time. I tried my best to look fabulous. I had this 1950s dress on. I did my hair. I did all the rest of it. I made chocolate truffles. And I tried so hard to get involved because that's who I was. I tried so hard to look amazing because that's who I was. I was the flamboyant, the entertainer one. It gets to a point in the day when I'm desperately trying to get my boy to go to sleep. And there I am walking around this amazing space in this phenomenal Italian style courtyard with a rumble down church to the little side, and then you go through and there's just like these leaves hanging down and white lights coming down with gorgeous little disco balls everywhere. I mean, it was like a rustic Hollywood. It was just so amazing. Champagne everywhere. And there's me desperately trying to get Stan to sleep, rocking him back and forth. And then I hear these girls, the women, the whole bridal procession popping these champagne corks and laughing and loving what's going on. And suddenly I realise that's not me. Suddenly I'm not up there with them. I'm not bringing the food out to people. I'm not sharing the drinks. I'm not rolling around laughing with people. I'm not frolicking around in the fields going in and out of the pool.
You're not even part of the whole thing.
I'm not even part of anything.
You're just there.
I'm completely just alone. Totally and utterly, I felt completely alone. And that is when everything hit me. That's when I literally fell to the floor and handed my baby over to my husband, and I ran. And I ran to our camper van and I just cried. My friend saw what happened and she came after me. And she found me rocking back and forth, crying, just completely in shock, but also just realization of things have changed. I'm not that person anymore. I'm someone else. I'm a mum. And what was really scary about that was I didn't know who that mum was. I didn't know how to be a mum. I didn't know how to let go of my old life. But after that point is when I made some changes. And it was then that triggered me off to then make some huge 5 big changes in my life, which I'll share now, which I'll talk a bit more deeply about in the talk. But 5 huge things that changed my life forever. When I got home about a month later after the wedding, and I was at my mum's house because we were in between homes at the time. And I sat down on the sofa with her and I just realised that I couldn't keep being like this. I couldn't keep being in that space of feeling detached, lost, depressed, worthless, useless, completely, who am I? What? Yeah, limbo land. You know, you're just completely limbo land. And I wanted to make that better. I wanted to be me. I wanted to feel strong. I wanted to feel empowered. I wanted to make some money. I wanted to create a life that I actually wanted to live. I found that actually motherhood, what this had given me, was an opportunity to rediscover what I wanted to do, to actually go for the stuff that I want to go for and not just live in a life that's just tumbleweeding from one minute to the next. I had a chance at that point, and I knew it, to change my life if I wanted to. And I really, 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 really wanted to. So I sat down and I crossed my legs and I did what I know how to best. I opened up my hands and literally just closed my eyes and just surrendered everything. And I looked up. I remember sat there looking up at her ceiling, just saying, show me a sign. Tell me what to do. I will do anything you tell me. Just show me what to do. I trust in myself and I trust in you. And at that point, my shoulders came down and everything else I just let it go. From then on, I started to do that was the first thing I did. The next thing is self-exploration. I'm going to give myself permission to figure out who the hell I am now. And that's okay. In fact, it will make me a better mother if I figure out who I am. So I did that. I listened to podcasts. I researched on the internet. I wrote lists down. I journaled. I did all this kind of stuff. I gratitude journaled. You did
the work.
I did the work. You have to do the work. It's all very well to look at it and see it and maybe read about it, but things don't change unless you actually take that action and do the work. And that was the second biggest thing. The third biggest thing was I made it happen. I created space in my day. I utilized my resources around me. So I asked my parents if they'd like to babysit, which they were obviously very happy to do, which enabled me 2 hours in a day to have back to me. In those 2 hours, I sat at my desk, I did loads of mind mapping, I had a bath, I went for a walk, I went for a run, whatever I needed to do to figure that out. Yeah. And I went to a nutritional therapist to sort out my gut health because I was depressed, I was foggy-headed, I was completely overweight and not happy. That managed to sort it all out. The fifth thing I did was went back to yoga. So for me, yoga is a really powerful connection. It's a really spiritual experience. So what yoga did for me was not only help me to ground me, help me to look inside, gave me that space to build strength physically, but mentally as well. But it enabled me to be in a room with women. Women are amazing. We need our tribe, and that's the thing that's missing. We are so missing in Western civilization, our tribe to support a woman to transition into motherhood safely. So through a whole year of doing this incredible transformation, doing the work, and I retrained as a milliner. I make fancy hats now, and well, I don't now, actually, I do something completely different, but I retrained as a milliner. I did upholstery, and I did all this stuff, and then like one day, like a thunderbolt, just bam, what am I doing? I'm setting up a business to make hats. I don't want to make hats. I'm good at it. I can do it. I don't want to make hats. I'm not here on this planet to make hats. I'm here on this planet to help mums. I'm here to help heal the world. I'm here to help share my journey and help other people to go through their journey too, so that they can thrive and shine too. I'm here to talk about matrescence. I'm here to talk about the spiritual awakening of a mother. And that's what landed me into where I am today.
And that's the core. It's the spiritual awakening of a mother.
Yes.
That's the other birth that happens. It's not just you give birth to a child, you give birth to a mother. That's a lovely catch-all phrase, but if you actually think about it, you're like, I don't know what that means. Well, this is what it means. It's the spiritual awakening of a mother, which is a loss of one life in order to make space for another.
Yes. Yeah.
And it isn't just as simple as biologically giving birth and managing to survive it and get through the next 5 years of sleep deprivation. It's a spiritual awakening to a fuller version of being a woman.
Yes. Yeah.
This is why, I mean, and as soon as you started talking about this, my mind, or my little antenna tuned in, and, I have 2 sons. Some people may know that. Bearing in mind, I walk them across the country and talk about them all the time. But one of them is 23 years old, and I look back and I think, if there had just been one person who'd explained to me what I was feeling but couldn't name, I would have gone, oh, that's what it is. Oh, well, I'll stop fighting it then.
Yes.
But what it is you feel it, and you think things are going to fall apart, so you can't feel it, and you can't lean into it because you don't know what it is. So all you do is you get your head and your body through the at whatever cost to the other side. And so, anybody who is going to give birth to the next version of a woman has a huge place to play in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in our culture, which isn't familiar with this as a full spiritual experience.
Yes. And you're absolutely right. When we understand, this is the thing, is when we actually understand what we're dealing with. So in those really dark moments of early motherhood, and we've all been there, most of us have been there, not everybody, but most have, where we just think, oh my God, this is it. This is my life. This is who I am now. I'm never going to feel okay. I'm never going to feel sane. I'm never going to sleep again. I'm never going to feel connected. But if we understand that there's a start and a transition and a middle and an end to this period of time, we can embrace it. We can let go. We can, nurture ourselves through it, knowing that we're almost evolving.
Yes, it's the cocoon, isn't it?
100%, yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. But without understanding what it is, we don't know what resources we've got to help us. And without understanding what it is, we don't know, what else is, chemically, hormonally, physiologically going on for us. And when we understand, when we're aware, we have much more compassion, we have much more acceptance of what's
Well,
going
even excitement, because suddenly you're
on.
like, oh
Absolutely.
my God, I'm actually like, this is like something big. How exciting is that? I
Yes.
mean, I don't know if you know this, but in a cocoon, the caterpillar actually dissolves itself
Oh,
until it's just, and then
didn't know that.
that
Yeah.
um, primal fluid grows the butterfly. And so when you were explaining this to me, that's where my mind went. I'm like, that can be how it feels. Like you, yeah, sure, you're a caterpillar and everybody else is a caterpillar and you're all munching the leaves, having a good time. And then you somehow end up in this cocoon and you literally just dissolve into plasmodic fluid. And out of that, when you're in that state, you do not know what a butterfly is.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
not a chance. And you're
Yes.
like, how can I possibly from this become
Mm,
something with wings
mm,
and color and light that can fly? And
yeah.
that's what I heard when I heard you talking about this, really.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you told me that, because as a visualization, as a visual kind of tangible thing, that's exactly what it is. And you go from being a like friendly little grub, happy, but then you turn into this like beautiful, strong, amazing thing. But
Yeah,
you're right, in that space you don't know, you've lost your little friendly grub, you've lost everything that you've
just
known,
a little
and there's
sack of fluid,
a sack of fluid, not knowing what's going on, your brain's gone to mush, everything's wibbly.
primordial ooze.
Yes, lovely.
And
But
that's why it feels scary, right? You're just like, but
absolutely, we don't know what to do
it's
with that
literally
ooze.
the cradle of life.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's what we crawled out of, was the primordial ooze, and that's what gives birth to the. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and so, um, and yes, those of us who know what it's like wish that we'd known someone like you. But there's a whole new generation of mums, like about to become mums, about to grow into these seeds, these cosmic seeds that give birth to new cosmic seeds. And
Mm,
so your work is ever needed,
yeah.
because we have lost the Celtic goddesses that would have helped us through
Yeah.
this period,
Yeah.
because we've forgotten them.
Mm.
And
And
your
we're not
mother
taught
was
about them. We're not told to harness that either.
no, but your mother was very wise because she knew what she was doing, I guess.
She did.
Awena, it's been absolutely amazing to hear your story fully.
Thank
And
you.
I can't wait for people to come and eye to eye, heart to heart connect with you at the festival. You're actually going to be opening the whole festival. So, um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
No
no,
pressure.
oh, sorry, did I not tell you that? Sorry about that. But, but the whole day is built on
Is it?
these four natural powers of heal, inspire, lead, and
Mm,
foretell. And that's elemental. And your story is at the beginning, because it's the beginning of life, but it is also the healing. It is the healing of that transition. And so you're you're the exact story that needs to open the whole day.
wow. Thank you
You're
so
going to
much.
give birth to it, for example, just if we just run this whole analogy all the way. So I can't wait for people to
Wow.
come and meet you and connect with you.
Thank you
And thank you
so
for the
much.
interview today. And
You're so.
we'll see you on the 14th of November.
I really look forward to it.